Alright guys, this is Anomaly 682 back with another video, and in this video we're going to do something a little different for you guys. Just in case you guys don't know, this is the newly released concept. I don't even know what the official name for this piece is, but let's just call it the dope concept, because that's exactly what it is. This was just a newly released concept from One's Customs. He did for Paul Manzi. Paul Manzi's the one that ended up buying it. Very lucky individual. I'm so jelly. This figure, we'll talk about this figure and what I think about it. And I also have one of my good friends in the hobby as well, and in life in general, Mr. Dan Terzo. What up?
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, we haven't decided yet if we're gonna reveal ourselves. I think we want to remain anonymous finally.
I like that. I like that. Keep that anomaly anonymous, you know?
Yeah, anomaly anonymous.
That good style. I like that, baby. Keep it going.
But basically, we want to do a little something different with this figure, just for the simple fact that over the last year, 2019, I think we all agree it's been a big year for One's Customs. He is. You think so, Liam?
Absolutely. This year, just on the concept releases alone, I think he really kind of stepped forward as he could be king, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, he's definitely stepped up his game in terms of the quality, in terms of materials used, paint, creativity. And Ron's been doing this for, I think, 10 years now, 11 years.
And that's not to say that the stuff they released before was bad. That's nothing about that. It's just saying that we didn't think he could get to another level. And
right.
I think he's proven me wrong. Like, oh my God.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I could, some of the pieces I have in my collection to this day, I'm like, damn, I don't know if one can top this. But then he comes out with something, I'm like, wow, maybe he really can. And that's good. As an artist, there's nothing wrong with progression, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely not. I think that's what everybody wants.
Right.
Because it keeps you fiending first of all, as a collector, it makes you fiend for more, because you're like, what else can we do? Because this stuff, this quality, this detail, you will never get mass produced. You just can't.
I don't think you can get it from anybody in the world. I think One is the only one in the world that can do it like this. He has a niche on this market. Absolutely. And if there is anyone else that can do it, they're not doing it, which isn't relevant. I mean, at the end of the day, we can be hypothetical all day and guess. But the reality is that when it comes to weathered, grimy, realistic-looking figures that pop out of the fucking screen, I think you could agree with me that no one does it better than One.
No, absolutely not. And the funny thing about it, I haven't seen anybody really pull concepts like One.
Nope.
You got to think about it. Like, One probably started the whole concept thing.
Right.
And he takes it to another level. It's like a what-if world, like dream kind of thing. Like, this shit, you might not even see this shit in movies to this degree. You know what I'm saying?
No,
which is crazy, because this is definitely, in my opinion, it's got a Part 7 feel to it. It's a crossover, two different worlds a little bit, with sculpting on the chest and stuff like that. Plus, it has maybe an Evil Dead, demonic thing as well. This thing is amazing. That's all I can say, dude.
It's easily one of his best concepts, if not his best concept that he's made to date, that is in hand and that I've seen in hand. And it definitely warrants some special attention. So again, shout out to One's Customs. And
absolutely.
I definitely salute you and look forward to the other projects that you have. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into a little bit more depth and detail, show you guys some angles, and me and Dan will do some additional commentary as we break it down. All right, this is going to be a little bit of a slightly longer video, so if you have a ADD or a slow attention span, just feel free to fast forward that bitch. All right, I'll be back. Hey guys, let's do this Magnus style shot out. Let's start with the head that it comes with. What do you think about this, Dan?
Honestly, I think this actually is one of my favorite heads, because you never think you'd see a bald Michael.
Would you let a Mac 3 mic?
Yeah, it's right, but the cracks are very, very well done. because you can see the blood in there and all that. And I actually like the paint scheme. You can see it's very faded on the white. It's showing really the tone of like the Shatner mask before it was painted.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's yellowing in the back. If you twist it all the way to the back,
Let's see
if you see on the neckline, see how it's yellowing? I've never seen them do that too much, actually.
That's a good point. The paint team is definitely different. It's unique. It's an awesome sculpt. Let's get a zoom in on that. Look at the details. We got some blood splatter. We got it's a very, very, very clean cast. Smooth. Has a nice glitz to it. Again, look at those details, guys. It looks like he went a little crazy on that Mac 3. Huh?
Yeah, I say so.
Cutting his eyebrows up. It's very creative and a great.
It's simplistic, but it adds a lot to it.
Yeah, it works, man.
It makes you wonder what happened to the guy.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, if you can agree, maybe the 78 looks like a simple mask, but it's very hard to capture in sculpt
It is.
form.
It's one of
and
them.
very few can, like say the Mad Bug B1, B2. Once customs is up there, I don't really see too many people really pulling out a 78 that's high quality like that.
I agree. I think it's one of the hardest masks for the masses to agree upon because so many people have their different.
It is the most controversial. Which one has the best 78? You know,
Look at this body right here. Look at the detail in this thing.
And I believe that accessory actually has crunch to it. The abs crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Paul just confirmed it. You can crunch the abs and all that and pose it any way.
So again, this is very creative. We got a Concept Mikey just went kind of berserk on this poor guy, cut his head off.
It's like a Leatherface thing.
And this thing it's heavy, it's detailed, and the blood work. You can agree. What do you think about one's blood work?
I think it is the best blood work in the game. Not only for the fact that it's very well executed, as you can see the blood splatters in the background and all that, but it's realistically toned, if you get what I'm saying. It's real tone, real paint. It just, I mean, you work in the hospital field and all that, you know.
Yep.
It's very realistic. If you look at the body parts and all that, come on, this is stuff of nightmares for children.
Yeah, this is really creative. It's really awesome. Look at that leg right there. Oh, got the sneaker on it, and that kind of looks like some Nike Air Forces right there. At least he had good taste before he died. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I like though? The knife is removable from the chest.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna remove it, but
yeah, we're not gonna remove it. But that knife does come out,
which
and
is
it goes
awesome.
right in, and it's just a great display piece, and really makes the whole presentation pop. Because I mean, let's be real. This is a 1/6 horror piece, and we want this to just pop, and that's what I love about Ones is his shit pops.
It's lifelike. It's unreal. I mean, once you get up a little further up, whenever you're doing the video, you're gonna see some true lifelike things.
Well, let's talk about this figure. I'm focusing on the boots right now. Boots are very well done. They're weathered very nicely.
They have a wet look.
Have a nice wet look. I absolutely love how the pants overlap on the boots.
Yep.
I think we're looking at from the lower part. We get some focus on the forward. I like how the pants are tattered and how they're cut and how they fit. This may sound like all trivial stuff, but this is important, man. Like, pants are too tight.
Right.
Then the cuts aren't great.
It won't have the right flow.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right. There's always going to be something that's going to irk you about it. You always want to be able to look at your pieces and be like, this is it.
Right.
You always want to have the most pride in them.
Look at that meat cleaver. What do you think about that cleaver, man?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Like I said, this figure incorporates a lot. The cleaver's like a Leatherface with the massive body parts. You got the part 7 Jason, rib cage, and you got the Myers, of course. It's really an amalgam of every beautiful thing. The four main hitters of the horror movie genre, which I love.
Right.
And I don't know if he was going for that, but this is a really great amalgam of everything.
And right here, what I like is we have this pumpkin on this, I don't know if that's a sculpted podium or I don't know what that is, but
it looks realistic too. It's got good paint.
Good paint.
Good weather.
It looks really good. Let me put my hands on that and see what this shit feels like. Whoa, this shit's, whoa.
I was about to come for the same. You see that shit?
Yeah, it feels the part. It looks the part. Again, the cleaver is beautifully weathered. It looks old and rusty, and that is not something that you want to be stabbed with, just on the infection status alone on that shit. But so right here we have, let's take a perspective of the figure. We have, again, I'm very anal. Maybe I'm a little too OC.
Maybe a little too much.
Maybe I like anal too much, but
that's not a. Well,
but I didn't put that out there. My bad. But I love how these coveralls contort to the body. I love how the waist area looks. It looks like an actual person should look when they're wearing coveralls.
Absolutely.
Doesn't look all wonky and distorted. Right. And
that's the thing we always talk about, me and you, is that waistline. Sometimes, you know, on certain figures, the waistline is a little too crunched. You need that looseness, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
and that's what makes it flow from the shoulders, everything. You want everything proportioned like that good old...
Right. There should be...
when it goes into a triangle form, it's a little...
Right.
It drags the eye away from the full piece, I think.
It's just a very well-built figure. And like you said, you got some elements of Part 7 here. But yeah, it has its kind of its own thing that it has going on, its own creative aspect. Right. Obviously, he's been highly battle damaged.
Oh yes.
Let's take a look at these hands. These are new hands that one has been experimenting with, and he's been doing them on his Part 7s. And
I love them. I love it.
Yeah, they're really, really well done.
You got the bones, the knuckles, the paint. I just love it has the wet look. You know that. It just really makes the paint pop a lot more, especially under the light.
Right.
It's key. Definitely for a display.
No, absolutely.
Especially for a dark figure like you taught me, because you're essentially the sensei of my 1/6 world. Darker figures, you know, they need that light. Like with your burnt Part 7, you were bringing that up.
Right.
We went through the different colors and shadings of paint that kind of took different styles under certain lights.
Right.
And this is what you need for this.
Yeah, for a darker piece, you definitely the light, and that definitely helps. And what about this head sculpt? What do you think about this head sculpt right here?
Fucking one of the best concept sculpts I've seen in a minute, man.
Yep.
The saliva that's coming, drooling from the chin, is really what sets this whole piece home for me. It is the littlest detail, but that detail is fucking insane. It makes such a big difference.
Yep, I agree.
To sculpt that saliva, come on, man. Come on.
And the head sculpt and all, it's just very creative. It's just something that just about this head sculpt that just pops, and it's very imposing. The hair work is phenomenal. Shout out to once again for the upgraded hair. I don't know what material you're using, but it's definitely a huge step above what you were using prior. So definitely, I look forward to some of the commissions that we both have, and seeing that implemented. But from the front, let's take a perspective shot.
How you like it in that position of his jaw, just how it's open. I think that was a very smart move to have a jaw open. He could have had just a grin, but the fact that it's more of an open mouth, kind of like a dead dangling jaw,
right,
it adds so much more to the sculpt.
Normally I wouldn't be a fan of an open mouth anything, but on this piece it works exceptionally.
Oh, absolutely.
Exceptionally. And guys, just before we start looking at some angles, you know how we do it anomaly style. Again, this is the dial from behind. There's just so much with this piece. I feel like I'm missing out like a lot of things here, but I mean, it's a simple dial, but it's effective, and it just adds significantly to the presence. Again, looking at the dial, it's all bloodied and weathered out, and it just, it just looks like he's been doing some serious carnage here, as you can see with everything. So just really epic presentation from the front, and we're gonna take a look at some angles coming up. Alrighty. Alright guys, so let's take a look at some angles, just to get a better look at what we got here. Is another look at that cleaver. Again, those are new hands from ones that are sculpted on top of regular hands, I believe, but he just does his thing. Again, these are his hands that are sculpted over regular Hot Toys hands, and he just does his thing. We got some exceptional details right here. Again, I love the cuts and all the different exposure points. Look at that shoulder, god damn. You can see the ball of his shoulder. Again, in person, this piece is just... And then along the head, it looks like we got some brain. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool right there. Look at that hair work, man. That hair work is exceptional.
Wow.
And then let's focus. So let's get a zoom in on that, guys. Look at that, guys. Just the thing with one, when he does these concepts, he really enjoys doing them. So usually, hint. FYI, when you're buying concepts from one, you're usually going to get his top attention to detail, and this piece is no exception. Let's get a perspective, and let's take a look from behind. All right, guys, so here's another perspective on the dial. Again, all these body parts, and this is how we're looking from behind. We got exposure points and sculpting everywhere, so I'm glad that one didn't... he decided to do sculpting all around, not just on the front. Got a little rag. He got to keep himself clean, you know, after he's eating people. Wipe his face up. And looks like we got a spinal column here,
which is amazing.
Awesome attention to detail.
I want to know what's under there. It's so much more, you know. There's probably so much under that. That's insane.
Again, it's the hair. Yeah, from behind it looks really, really good. It's a good, very, very imposing, and it's a good height. Let's get a perspective. And guys, here is the other angle. Again, it's good. You guys a full setup and perspective. Again, there's another look at those sculpted hands. Partially sculpted. And those bones. Yeah. Again, more exposure points, more details. Again, this figure has details galore. Trying to get some focus going on. And you can see the ribs from the side. Again, another great angle of the head. Yeah, I really like this head sculpt a lot, guys. I can't overemphasize just how nice and how well done this head is. Very, very good. And get a perspective. So this is a conclusion of this review, and I hope you guys enjoyed you know, how we did this video a little different than we normally do it in the past with the commentary and everything.
It was a lot of fun though.
Yeah,
thanks for having me on that, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for Paul letting us share this. Hit him up at Distress Labs, him and Chris, and do some great dials and weaponry work. Absolutely, on Instagram, Facebook.
Absolutely. Yep. This is Paul Manzi's figure featured in the Paul Manzi Museum. And again, another great concept from Ones. Definitely spectacular work. Definitely one of the best ones I've seen lately. I know One has a lot more coming, so it'll be interesting to see how those are. I have a few that I'm waiting for myself, a few commissions, and a concept Jason that I purchased, which I'll be doing a review on that. I'm just waiting till I get that and a few other pieces, and I'll do a collection video as promised.
Can't wait for that concept, Jason.
Oh yeah.
If the people gotta know which one it is.
Oh yeah.
This figure might give a hint of what it is.
Yeah. So again,
let's not say too much.
Part of the trilogy of the One's Rampage on this concept, because One definitely has a niche on this sector. I don't think anyone's gonna really take that market from them. So again, concept Michael, very great piece. If you guys like the video, please comment, like, and if not, hit that sub. This video will probably most likely be uploaded to Dan Terzo's YouTube as well, and we'll take it from there. All right, guys, I'm out. Peace.
Preview.